All right. All right, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Local Toronto Meetup. You guys excited? Yes. Let's give some more noise. Yeah! All right. So now the people in the camera are thinking, "Oh my God, this is a big event. I wish I could be there. I feel FOMO." But I'm excited to have you guys all here. It's a great chance to network. I want you to network. The beginning part was networking. After the networking, and the middle part is the learning. So that's kind of what we're doing. Okay. Everyone, come on in, grab a seat, and we'll get started. I will talk a bit about the agenda, which was networking, of course, the welcome by me. I'll talk a bit more about that. And then on the panel event, and they'll also do what's called an open mic session. What that means is someone will grab a mic, come up here, and share whatever they want for the next 30 to 60 seconds. If you take too long, I will personally remove you. If it's too short, like, hi, bye. If that's not good enough, try it. Share a pitch, share a nugget, talk about your business. Looking for a job? What do you need? What do you need from us? Because the power of networking is what this room is all about. Okay, I always say every person is a bridge to someone or something else. You have no idea what might happen when you meet someone. I once met a woman on the bench in the subway. We started chatting. Next thing you know, she got the job opportunity teaching kids at a high school. Awesome. You never know. So this room is full of 50 bridges that you can all be using. The question is, can you find the right bridge? But you won't know unless you talk about it. Okay? So with that, this is a beautiful space. 111, we've had multiple events in this space. I'd like to invite Caitlin to share a bit about the space and talk about it and give us a buzz.
I'm also responsible for the AV, which is not working. Currently is what I'm going to add. So I appreciate your patience as we work through this. I'm delighted to see so many faces, so many new faces in this space. Welcoming people, sharing a sense of community, a family, a trust, an ecosystem where we support each other. That's what 111 is about. And being around people with amazing minds and talent that are looking to change the world. That is why I personally joined 111. And we would love to see more of you in this space. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to give you a tour after this event or any other point. But yeah, happy to speak further about any event for 111. But I'm really energized by seeing a lot of smiling faces in this room. Very diverse faces, and that's another thing that is personally very important to me as it is to the 111 community hall. So welcome, thank you, and I'm going to turn it back.
Okay, thank you. And I don't have no clickers. I'm going to do this laptop over here so I can talk to you all. So, a little about LinkedIn Local. So, a bit about what happens. So the first time, and today's topic is all about how coaching transforms you. We do a different topic every single time. And thanks to our sponsors, we have SERV, DYPB, Redefine, 111, and our partners, Rayon and TLD Club. This was, I don't know why my slides are advanced, but I want to stop this. Please don't do it. Does that work? Save it. Okay, now we'll do it. This is the first thing to local we did many years ago. The whole point of it was really taking network online on LinkedIn and bringing it in person to a space. This first space was at the ROyE space. And it was a great event, and switch was long. We started this whole trend of LinkedIn locals all across the world. There's 150 of these things happening around like TEDx. And what ended up happening was he said, Bob, you want to speak? I'm like, sure. And then after it was over, he said, Bob, you want to organize? I'm organized? Sure. So I started organizing. And then we've been in very beautiful spaces all around Toronto. We've done lots of panels on different topics, removing breaking barriers, financial investments. We went and talked about personal branding, storytelling, coaching. We also let people do what we call open mics. So you get up on stage and you share something with the audience. And then, of course, we'd like to do a group shot at the end, which is great. Then the pandemic hit after this event on February 2020, and then everything fell apart, but now we're back. I had a team back then of volunteers who were doing some great stuff, but we all had to kind of figure out what we wanted to do. But then we started doing events after that. So we did this one, and we did another one there. Then we found this space. This is the last one we did in October. I think we talked about how content experts are members of creator economy. So that's kind of what that topic was all about. And so a little bit about DYPB. DYPB is an organization that helps you with your personal brand. Most people I know have felt lost or stuck in their career, whether in the beginning or in the middle of it. And so getting clarity in your brand allows you to get focus, purpose, and direction. It allows you to have more clarity what you're trying to do, and it brings you more alignment. Because most of us want to have focus in what we're doing. Most of us want to have alignment in what we're doing. We also have to have impact. If you have clear focus, if you have proper alignment, you'll have the impact. It's so advancing for that. Very annoying. Turn this off. There. Oh, I see. I should put the mouse like that. See, technical difficulties. You should have one on tech difficulties. Have a little bit. Okay, there we go. Save that. So one of the things I found out with personal branding is a lot of people don't want to do the work. Why? Because it's work. I don't want to do the work, and so people don't want to do the work, and that's a big issue for a lot of folks. And so this model, most people are stuck in the design phase. They're designing, planning, strategizing. Still advancing. What the hell? Don't know why it does that. Oh, slide. Burn it? Okay. Anyways, I'm going to keep going with this. And you know what I'm doing. You can still see that, right? Yeah. Hey, cool. Okay, so typically what happens is most of us are stuck in design mode, planning, strategizing, marketing materials, tactics, work on my resume, work on my LinkedIn profile, what am I doing? And then we deploy, we deliver out there in the marketplace, and then all of a sudden, your marketing strategy doesn't work after 6 months. Your career strategy doesn't work after 2 years. Your business development strategy doesn't work after 18 months. Why? Because we don't take the time to really understand our brands. So when you put something out there that's 45, 55, 65% aligned, what happens is it's not really going to do well. If you do the deep dive work to discover, explore, commit to the process, and craft the brand, this takes about 50 hours. Okay? You're going to actually be able to create something that's far more targeted, far more impactful, far more focused. Now you're 85, 95% aligned, and you're more likely to have success. And so what I tell people is that if you're willing to put 50 hours of work into creating a life that has $500,000 of happy, fulfillment impact, personal brand is the way to do it. That's kind of what we should do. Okay. I'll talk a bit more about myself later on, but the agenda I'm going to share with you. And then, again, feel free to use the hashtags, feel free to tag various people who are part of the process. In fact, I'm going to leave this slide up for you so I want to see. And so this slide should stay, right, according to somebody. So this is what happens. And this is the main slide I want to do that. Okay. So yeah, so you can use these different hashtags and all these different, you can tag people on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever you want. But that's kind of where you make it work. So, starting. So to start with, and again, the microphone will start with. Check. Oh. Thank you. So before we start the panel, I actually put the agenda. I want to start with open mic. So keep a small one. So I want to invite 5 people to come up here and share something for 30 to 60 seconds. Would anybody like to come up and share something? Go ahead. If anybody else wants to come up, just line up over there. First come, first serve. First 5. That's it.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
My name is Akhil Anthony. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm a project management professional and an agile coach. I have worked for various multinational companies, I'm here because I came here for my master's in project management, and I completed that. And the reason I am here today is because last year, somewhere during the same time, I attended this event, which was conducted by ROyE. The topic was very interesting, that was close to my heart, which was for AI. And I came here, I attended the session, and I was looking for a job. And you know what? I connected with one HR manager, and she helped me find my first job. So I was just telling Bobby that I wanted to thank him, and he said the best way to do that is to share that with you guys. So I'm doing that. And just to let you know that my company didn't go well. It was a startup, so it ended. Or maybe it's getting really fun. I'm still looking for opportunities. But right now I'm here because I want to learn more about coaching, because I want to see myself to be an agile coach. That's something I'm passionate about. So if you have interest in project management, agile, technology, and you want to know more about these things, I'm keen to share my knowledge and you can run it. That's all about me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a bit long. That's okay. Keep it short, guys. But I'm good. That was a beautiful story. So let's go to the next person. Come on up here. 30, 60 seconds. All right, let's go. We're 60 here, so that people can see the camera.
Hello everyone.
Sorry, before we speak, I want to mention, this is live streaming. So it's live streaming by 491,000 Twitter followers, my 36,000 Instagram followers, my 47,000 LinkedIn followers, and also my Facebook pages. So
No pressure.
the world's here.
So hello everyone. Good evening. I hope you all are well. My name is Darshan Shah. I am from India, Mumbai. I have came here on a student visa. Currently, I am pursuing my postgraduate certificate in accounting from York University. I do have 6 years of experience in SAP FICO. I am SAP S4HANA FICO certified consultant. So back home, I have experience of working with 2 multinational companies. One is the Tata Consultancy Service and another is the PwC. And I am looking forward to work again with them after completing my studies. Currently, I am looking for any part-time jobs. So if there is any needs of who has anyone, so please let me know. It will be great. And thank you so much for conducting this.
Hello everyone, my name is Pallavi Khurana. I'm from India as well. I'm graduating next month from a business management course. And I won't take much of your time, I promise. So I just want to let you guys know, thank you all for showing up. Thank you, Ritika and Mommy, for organizing this. And I'm really glad to meet everyone and for this networking opportunity. Thank you so much.
Hi there. Who here uses LinkedIn Learning? I'm a LinkedIn Learning author. I've been one for 24 years. I'm here to represent the other half of LinkedIn. I live here in Toronto, and I've been producing courses for LinkedIn Learning since about 2007, when it was lynda.com. Does anybody remember lynda.com? I'll tell you, if you ever got the chance to work at their studio in Ohio, it was the best. Anyway, I have 36 courses. I primarily work in the area of UX design. Also, as of Monday, my 26th book was just published by the press. So I get around. For those of you that are thinking of LinkedIn or LinkedIn Learning, there is a way of getting on free without a subscription. Anybody know this one? It's right, a library card. Okay, if you have a library card or a student card, you have access to the entire LinkedIn Learning library, including me. So thank you.
So many of you bring some anxiety to me after saying that, because I was still confident. Yeah, I can say. But now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm careful. So yeah, over here, I just want to share, recently I'm a HR professional. I will be graduating soon, and I just want to say that my journey started with one of the redefined event, and I was too nervous when I was there. And there were some people who kind of pushed me, just going on, doesn't matter who it is. I think that just gave me confidence. And after that, I learned one thing, that if one person helped you, just help you in any way possible. And after that, I kept surrounding me with certain kind of people who thinks the same thing. And I think this world will be better place to help each other to grow in any area. So that's the one we should. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. That was great. All right, so let's start our panel. First, I'll introduce Ritika. Saraswat, welcome to the panel. You can sit here, and then Brian Hughes over there. Check your mic, see if they work.
I think I can even.
Yeah, I mean, too. I know it's a project. But if they do work, try to make them work. So, but but I'll start with you guys. Introduce yourselves. So Brian, and then please introduce yourselves.
So my name is Brian Hughes, formerly an HR executive for 30 plus years, and most recently have launched my coaching practice, and I'm excited about that, and looking forward to sharing the insights of what coaching is all about, because it's a pretty powerful process, and you're going to give me some great insights, especially with my esteemed colleague next to us. So,
Oh my God.
no problem.
No, thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Rotika. I'm originally from India as well. So nice to see a couple of you from the same place. I moved to Canada about 6.5 years ago, and I always say, when I came in with the idea, hey, I'm here to make dreams possible. But the first day I arrived, I was like, hey, it doesn't seem so possible because of how expensive Canada is, and the constant questioning around Canadian experiences. So found losing myself along the way, but it was only until I surrounded myself with the right people who then gave me access to the right resources, the right opportunities, and that's when I realized, you know what, networking is the game changer. And that's why I'm so happy and proud to say you all should give a clap to yourself for showing up the random Wednesday evening, right? Who shows up for events those days? I don't, but good on you for showing up and being a part. I think it says in magnitude to what you are going to become when you grow up, sorry. A lot of you have grown up already. What you are going to become and then how you're going to set things up. But I currently work at Deloitte also, and I run my own company, Redefine, as well. And just a few months ago, got announced LinkedIn Top Voice. Take a lot of inspiration from Bobby, to be honest. Right? He's out there killing it with his company also. So I'm just here to learn from all of you as well. So thank you.
I try to use this because I think it's good to try to use it. So, my name is Bobby Umar. I am a motivational speaker by trade. I've done 1,000 keynotes in the last 20 years across 4 continents. I usually talk about leadership development. I became known as a networking expert guy, so I have a book on networking. Then I became known for personal branding. Pretty soon I became a digital influencer with 500,000 followers on Twitter and 70,000 LinkedIn. So I started becoming an influencer guy who talked about digital marketing. And during the pandemic, everything kind of fell apart, so I started doing storytelling and thought leadership. And now what I do is I focus on helping people land a TEDx talk. And using TEDx talks to elevate their personal brand and build their thought leadership, which then leads to book deals, double your fees, paid speaking gigs, consulting, media appearances, and lots of job opportunities. So that's kind of what I focus on. I also have a membership committee called the Thought Leadership Branding Club, which is basically people on the ground level trying to elevate their professionalism, where they get access to me through coaching and through workshops and through trainings that I help them get to that next level. That's kind of what I focus on. And the branding's been good too. I'm a 5-time TEDx speaker. I'm a Lead Magazine top leadership speaker alongside Richard Branson and Brittany Brown. I also am now a LinkedIn Top Voice, which is pretty cool to get in January this year. I'm glad you're all here because we haven't had one of these events in a long time, not since October. And so we've had a delay in terms of getting back up to speed, but I'm hoping with this one, we can continue to do them consistently and grow it, and that's going to be awesome. So let's talk about coaching, because what's interesting now for me is that speaking was my primary source of business for 18 years. In the last 2 years, I've made more money coaching than at speaking. It's been a transition for me. And so, and one of the things I learned also is that people needed coaching. And I didn't realize that until about 5-6 years ago when I stopped coaching myself, but also my clients needed coaching. So I'm going to start with the panel with a question. The first question is, why is coaching so important? Let's go to you.
I don't think this is working. Is it?
No, it's working, yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh, wow. I think coaching is, and I see coaching more from a mentorship perspective, right? Because for me, that's been, I was a student not too long ago, right? A year ago. So for me, everything was all about mentorship. And I cannot tell you how transformative it can be for you. Because I think, this idea, that phrase you heard, that your network is your net worth, it comes down to that idea of surrounding yourself with those right people that we talk about, right? And depending on the stage of life you're at, I think it's very important that those people keep changing, right? Because when you're a student, maybe a lot of those mentors or that coaching you're getting is more around, how I crack the job out. But once you're already in that job, definitely keep those people still in your network. But I think it will have to change so that you're someone who can actually look ahead and beyond, right? Like today, when I am already working at a company, have my own company as well, the kind of people I make a part of my network are mostly C-level executives. Why? Or people who are directors and etc. at other companies. Why? Because I know those are the kind of people who have access to resources and opportunities that can help me where I am today. So for me, I think mentorship coaching is all about having that mutual exchange of value between two parties, right? So it's like even when I know a lot, how many of you are students here? Just to get an idea. So let's say half of you almost, right? So whenever a lot of us are reaching out to professionals for jobs, we are hesitant sometimes because we're like, okay, what do I have to offer? And what we don't realize is you have immense amount of value to offer because you are Gen Z, right? There are a lot of things you know that some of these professionals may not know, no matter how accomplished they are. Like even at DYPB, a lot of the vice chairs and directors, they're like, Ritika, can you teach us about personal branding, right? And I'm like, what? Me teaching you? But it's because they have their own skill sets or expertise and you have your own. What the value is you go up to them and be like, hey, this is my value, this is what I can offer to you. In exchange, can you guide me on these other factors, right? And let's create this a mutual journey of growth and excellence, whatever you want to call it. So for me, mentorship is that idea of giving back, not with the idea of, hey, I want something in return, but with the idea of developing this relationship, which does let you grow and excel in your own ways as well.
The question is, why is coaching important, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one line I always like to say is we all need a coach. I am a coach, I've hired a coach, I pay a coach. Because what it does is it brings you along the spectrum. You can go from direct coaching to non-direct coaching. So there is that spectrum. There's somewhere between basically stage of life. I really like that comment. Where I lean towards, which is the most impactful I found, is the non-direct coaching. A coach is not there to tell you what to do. A coach is there to evoke awareness. Because that's one of the things I've discovered as a coach that I do mostly CEOs is they're unaware of how they're showing up, the impact they're having, and what a coach does is it creates a safe space in confidence to allow you to explore safely of who you are as a person. And it goes to this matter what the title is, but as an individual, you don't realize really how you are being perceived and the impact you want to have. So the coaching process, and I'm just going to follow the question off, but the importance of a coach is to evoke that awareness, challenge your thinking sometimes, get you curious about what you're thinking, why you're thinking that way, and get clarity of thought and focus so you can develop a deeper understanding of yourself as well as others, and then really start getting into saying, what are you passionate, what do you love to do, so then you can have the desired impact. And I saw on Bobby's screen there with the cycle. If you're looking for an impact, and one thing I find coaching does, it's not about leaving an impact, and I can look at my framework, it's a legacy. I talk about coaching helps you live and leave a legacy. Leaving a legacy is in the moment, and that's what a coach can do. It can help you show up differently and have the impact you want in that moment with a lot of self-awareness and guidance to close that action.
I want to add a quick thing is because since a lot of us are students, one of the things I feel like a lot of us think about coaching is a coach doesn't tell you what you need to do. They're there to just tell you, hey, this is what I did. Maybe you could do this as well, right? So it doesn't mean whatever they tell you to do is exactly how you do it. Because I know when I talk to a lot of students, when they're listening even right now, pick only what applies to you. Doesn't mean every single thing we say applies to you, because I know a lot of people get out there and start applying everything and they're like, hey, I'm not able to make money through this, or I'm not able to do this. Well, it's because you're different, right? You have your own unique set of characteristics, just so different than us, and maybe even better in many ways, right? So I think listen what applies to you, incorporate it in those ways, and go back with questions, not saying, hey, what do you suggest I should do? But it's more about understanding, hey, have you been there? And if yes, what did you do in that situation? And then you place it in your own context, right? Because no one can understand you better than yourself, right? At least that's a hack, I think.
So let me ask a question. How many people, show of hands, how many people paid for a gym membership and never showed up? How many people actually signed up for a course university but didn't go to class? You know, the truth is, I can tell you that when it comes to losing weight, which I've struggled with my whole life, because I'm diabetic and I have big G disorder, I couldn't do it alone. People who, I actually teach GMAT, which is for people who do MBAs, and in the class, no one can do it alone. They take the course, but they can't do it alone. Why is that? Every single time you're trying to achieve something in life, losing weight, passing a test, building your business, getting a job, whatever it might be, there is a small percentage of people who do it on their own. Thank God for that 10%, but the rest of us, we struggle. And the reason why you you need a coach, and why I need a coach, why everyone needs a coach, because that coach is there to support you, to champion you, to provide you accountability, focus, knowledge, all that kind of stuff. And so whenever I want success in something, I need to have a coach. And now whenever I work with clients, I always say there's got to be a coaching element to it. Because the other thing that comes up is what we call mindset. Mindset is something that affects every single one of us in every single thing you do. One person hired me to consult her because there's coaching and there's consulting. I do what's called coaching, which is basically consulting is me telling you what to do, and coaching is me helping you to live beneath your wings to empower you to do what you need to do. And so what ended up happening, she hired me to launch this huge content strategy for her. For 6 sessions, we spent 5 sessions just on mindset because she couldn't post anything. I was like, oh my goodness, okay, let's back to you, let's go. Tell me what your mother, what happened? Okay, what? Your blood beer growing. Okay, great, let's talk about that. Like, we were going through all this stuff about why she had these hang-ups. And that alerted me to the idea that, you know what, mindset is a big issue for every single person in every walk of life, field, and you name it. And that's why, to me, coaching is so important. You want to elevate yourself, get the accountability, get the focus, get a coach. So, I want to quickly mention Brian's book. Brian, why don't you tell us about the book, and then we'll talk about how we can get access to the book.
Yeah, so the book is available on Amazon, but basically, we have a bunch here for giveaways at some point. But basically, what that is, it's a story about people's success and about being unstoppable. And if you read my chapter, I have one chapter of the whole book, what I've discovered in my life is that I would not be where I am today without someone helping me see more in me than I even saw in myself. They removed the barriers and they helped me see more and more potential and challenge me to take risks. So that's what I now do in my coaching is I help people take risks they feel they may not be able to achieve themselves. And that's what the book does. It really helps provide my insights. And it's called Living Purpose. You have to start with purpose. What is your purpose? It's not a vision, it's a purpose. It's a very different thing. It's the same if you use it differently. So that's what my chapter is. But it's a series of stories of people that have done things that you can learn from that made them successful and unstoppable. That's what it's called, unstoppable.
So we brought a lot of books, and the way you can win a book is 3 things. Number 1, come up and do a really good open mic session, we'll give you a book. Number 2, ask a really good question to the panel, we'll give you a book. Number 3, take photos of the event and post on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, wherever the hell it is, and then show it to me, show it to Brian, and we'll give you a book. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Yes, you have a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm interested in the book.
Sure, I will. All right, I wasn't ready for a question, but go ahead, what's your question?
The Gen Z and a lot of millennials are getting everything from TikTok. Everything. To the extent that the US government is now banning it for a lot of different reasons. So, if that is the case, why do they need a coach? If TikTok is their companion, and then you have ChatGPT.
Well, the general rule of that is that screens, courses, programs, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever, that's a one-way conversation. That's the main reason why they have that coach, because you're not going to challenge them. Stuff.
Not
My
the
son,
ChatGPT.
my 15-year-old watches Shorts, right? And he tells me something, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Where'd you get that from? And then I was like, you know what? We need to work on critical thinking skills, because what you read was bullshit. Okay? And he watched a lot of other good stuff that's great, like science stuff, but I'm like, this one, I'm going to challenge you on that. What's happening is, as a parent, I'm coaching him because he needs a coach. Otherwise, he's going down a wrong path or under some rabbit hole. Anyone want to add to that? Or?
I think you said a lot. You said really, I wouldn't add anymore. You need to I'm like an admin. You need context. That's what a coach does.
Yes.
If it puts context around it. AI is scary. I was at a conference a little while ago. It's scary what's happening up there. And the power, like my value has gone down the waist in my brain. Seriously, the knowledge I have, I did a whole strategy in 30 seconds for each other. That's scary. So what can you do with that? How do you implement that? How do you think it through? Critical thinking is a great one. That's why I think that's very powerful. Obviously. But it's that context setting, and a coach is going to challenge you. They're going to challenge you. So what is the basis of that hypothesis? What is that based on? And what I've discovered dealing with people is we create stories only from what we know. We don't know what we don't know. We don't get curious. And that's the most powerful thing you can do with coaching is get curious without being judged. That's that's my tagline. Curiosity without judgment. You create a space of dialogue with people. They go, what did you just do? I did absolutely zero, except got curious, asked the right questions, and get excited to know about it. If you can unpack and unpack something in 15 minutes and go tomorrow, you're good at it. I can do it, I've done it, and I'm sure you've done it as well. It's powerful. That's what will trump any TikTok.
And I feel like with Brian's point, I think social media creates like a thought bubble, right? You most often come across content that you like. So I feel like it isn't really giving you an opportunity to grow. It's feeding you the same thing in and out. And I feel like initially I got a lot of my knowledge, honestly, just through social media. It was very later on in my career that I realized, hey, I need to have a mentor or a human being who can show me the direction. And I think the only reason I felt that was because even though what I was getting was very valuable, and some of the people I met, I felt like they were saying the same things, but there was the difference in the contextual piece, where now it doesn't just feel like, you feel like you can aspire to be that person and it's not intimidating. I think on social media what happens is most oftentimes than not, what you're seeing is the end product, right? And when you see that, you can many times be left feeling quite intimidated on even getting started because you're like, wait a second, earning $1 million through like Shopify stores sounds like a lot, right? But if you sit down with someone who got started from zero and they explain to you, hey, this is what went behind the scenes, you're like, you know what? I'm there today. So if I do these 7 things, probably maybe in the next 5 years, I could get there too. So I think now it makes it more achievable and more realistic to even doing something like that. So I feel like that's, yeah.
Yeah, and videos don't provide accountability, videos don't provide context, videos don't provide focus, videos don't challenge you, right? So you need to have that stuff as a coach. I want to get to the next question for my panel, which is, well, how many people actually have a coach? Because the truth is most of us don't see coaching. So that's a problem, right? Why are people shying away from coaching? Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is because they don't know the value of it, because there's a lot of use of TikTok to give your answers. There's enough awareness of really the power of having a thought partner. And that's what it comes down to. It's like you don't know about something you've never experienced. And when people get into coaching and they get the value of that, they see that that dialogue in that space is very powerful. Go deep into yourself, get that clarity of thought, understand who you are as a person, what the impact you want to have, and really dive into what you love to do. I can't lose sight of that because that's a big love place. It's a thing. If you can find that, you will live the legacy you want to live. And I think that's what it comes down to. The lack of awareness. People say economics. Coaches are not cheap, Bobby's right. You make a lot of money coaching, but you know what? It's life changing. People will show up differently. And I know people now that are they have people they've coached for 10 years now because they saw the value once they got it and that space in the thought partnership. I like to use that word. That's the power of it. So it's lack of awareness, and that's what I think
I would emphasize like 2 main things. I think one is people sometimes are hesitant to reach out to other people for advice because they themselves may not know what they do, right? And I think that can place a sense of a barrier in your mind because you're like, okay, what's the point of reaching out to this person? Even if I get the time, I'm going to just seem stupid because I'm there just blabbering on and on, not really knowing what I want to do with my life. I think for me as well, the biggest reason I never reached out to someone initially was because I felt like before you even, and this is my personal opinion, before you even talk to someone, I think it's important you know who you are, right? You know what your value proposition is. Yes, on how do you become that full self in the future, that is something a coach can help you. But I think at the essence, you need to know where you're at today and where you want to get to, right? A coach can help you go from A to B. I don't think they can define A and B for you, right? So for me, that part was very important. I think that can be a reason why people wait. And a lot of us are never really investing the time into figuring out what we really want to do and who we want to be. So we never are able to define it. And because we never define it, we're like, okay, I can't even reach out to someone. I think that's one. Second is, even if you reach a stage where you want to reach out to people, you don't know how to, right? I know at least from a lot of international students' mindset perspective and students' perspective in general, we are very hesitant because when you talk about a mentor or a coach, most likely it's going to be someone 3 to 5 years ahead of you, right? And when we're reaching out, then we're again coming back to the place, oh, why would they respond to me? Oh, who am I? I'm not good enough. That whole spiral of thinking, which prevents you from even sending that first message. Or even if you send the message, it's never an individualized message. It's a spam message you're sending out to like 10, 15 people at once because you're like, let me see who responds, right? But again, that doesn't work and you never get anyone responding, so you give it up, right? So I feel like it's a combination of those few factors, and I think the third thing I've realized is being able to even know who a coach should be. I, for the longest time, did not know who was a coach or not, right? Even till today, there isn't anyone I pay to get coaching from, because I've realized there are people who are willing to just remove their time to mentor you. But again, that can have limitations because they don't have endless time for you, because they aren't getting an ROI quite directly, or at least in the short term, right? So I feel like it's a mixture of those three factors.
I'll just share two more things on that. One is mindset, which you've already talked about, because the thing is, most of us doubt ourselves. We feel uncomfortable talking to somebody or asking for help. We don't know where we're going wrong. We don't know what's wrong. All those different things. The mindset piece, doubt, uncertainty, fear, fear of failure, all these things get in the way of us seeking help, asking for help, or coaching. The second piece is money. On top of the money thing, because this is kind of in a couple ways. Because people think coaching needs money. Sure, but you can find coaching through mentorship. You can find coaching through, my biggest coach, one of my biggest coaches that I realized only later in life was my father. Because I was a young ass punk like you guys are, and thought I knew everything, and I never went to him for advice about anything. And then now in my 40s, I started going to him, like, I'm struggling with my finances, doing taxes, and he was like, well, you got to pay the budget, or what, a budget, what? And my dad became my coach because I asked for help. So you can find coaches without having too much money. And that said, the other thing I'll say about money that's an issue is that people don't know how to, they don't understand the monetary value of a coach. So for example, when I teach a TEDx, I say, look, I'm coaching people at a TEDx talk. Well, what's the monetary value of a TEDx talk? Because at a TEDx talk, your consulting fees go up, you get paid speaking gigs, you get media appearances, you get job offers. What's the monetary value? Most people don't think about those things. And so when I say my program costs X amount of dollars, what? And they freak out. Like, well, what's the monetary value? And there's also, when you think of monetary value coaching, there's the immediate monetary value in that first year of transformation. Then there's the long-term value, the lifetime value of having that coaching, having that mindset, having that confidence to do things you want to do. So I think a lot of people, they freak out on money in terms of paying for it. They don't understand what the monetary benefit is of having a career coach, or an executive coach, or a business coach, or a tennis coach, or whatever it might be. I think that becomes the issue. Now I see people raising hands up, which is kind of interesting. You guys want to share something? So go ahead, share something.
So it has to do with your term book, so the individual approach to coaching. Would it be possible to have, for example, a kind of valuable personalities people maybe group them into a or maybe two?
Well, there is group coaching, individual coaching, but certainly we don't do that. So I coach one-on-one, I also coach groups.
Yes, so that's another
Sure.
possibility that makes it more attainable.
Right. So what some people will do, I remember years ago I was doing GMAT coaching, and I was charging $150 an hour, and they're like, that's too much. And they said, I have 2 friends. And I said, fine, how about 3 friends, $225? And they said, sure, because they were paying like, $75, $80 each. They thought that was great. So yeah, you can do that as a way to do that. However, my general take is that whatever the weird price is. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Question is that because throughout your career you might want to support clients, do you see any comparability with PDF like that at any point that
All right, so we'll just do Q&A here because I have lots of questions that I like those questions. The first one, Brian.
So the first question was how to find a coach and a good fit. And what you'll find is that most coaches will do a free discovery call with you, and I would encourage you to and spend time with them, 10, 15 minutes, ask them questions, understand the process, because everyone has a certain process, and you have to decide where you're at in your journey and how much direction you want on journey, because that perspective is important. So really understanding the process that that coach follows is going to really help you there's tons of other people who coaches out there. You just gotta go through most people profile what their focus is. I have a framework. If you go to my website, you'll see the framework I follow. Like it or you don't like it.
And if you come prepared with lots of questions, that's great. I mean, coaches will extract from you, but it's better if you come prepared.
I have a follow-up to that. How do you know when is the right time to invest in paid coaching, right? Because I feel like, I don't know how many of us relate in this room, but at least like, being South Asian, I'm kind of cheap, right? Like, so it's like, I'm not willing to put in money, even though you know, right, that long-term
No
investment.
tax.
So it's like when you know you are at that stage where it makes sense to you, right? Because if someone who's a student right now, they are living paycheck to paycheck, does it make sense for them to invest, right? Yeah.
And that's what you have to decide the model of the financial model. Because I don't sell by the hour, I sell by the program. So I sell a program for 6 months, and I do that, and then we can scale it back.
And I do that too. Like, see, ROyE, but not do that.
I stay away from it. It's nice to know that you have unlimited access to the point. So the way I structure mine to manage that is I have an X number of quotes that they down by price. I'm shocked, but okay. Anyways, I have a price, and then I do 6 months, and then 2 meetings a month, and then there's unlimited access to me to ask questions during a moment and just work through it. That is the most valuable I found adding to it is that, and that's what we've done to your question. You asked the first one, your question.
Yeah.
So you have to decide what your budget is, but you're going to spend money. You have to spend some time. That's your only expense right there. So good with everything at a time. You can find those out there too. But if you really want value, I would suggest for your budget, you invest the money. So no matter where you are.
Yeah.
I wish I hired someone to see if really good. But
Now, what was the second question?
wait,
Now we'll go to you. Second question. There are a lot of questions. The second question.
I just want to say that you have been here in my cover with a lot of clients. Do you see any commonalities? Anything like that? How does it succeed if you're looking at if there's an engagement that is common in the clients and they all different?
Or like a strength as well.
that's a great.
Is there a commonality between coaching clients? Good
Yes.
question.
My first response to that is ego. That's the biggest thing is our ego gets in our way and it protects us. And we will let the guard down and go truly into ourselves. The one pattern I found in the CEOs that I coach anyways is their ego is so big. It is. It's reality. And I tell them, when they break through the ego, they realize that they're part of the issue in their organizations. It's so powerful. So the clients that I focus on is recently, that's the pattern. That's the biggest. Once they let their ego down, they let their wall and feel that everything is story of a person. It's a profound impact on the field around them and the impact that every ego goes through that. Break through ego is powerful. That's the number one thing. And then fear's the next one.
I think for me, like, with clients I work with, they have to be coachable. There are people you meet that are not coachable, that will not know what to say, and they're not really in the proper mindset to do it. So for me, commonality is the mindset. Sorry, the coachability piece. And the second commonality is the mindset, which is everyone struggles with mindset. Every single person I talk to. And so for me, typically when I do a coaching, an open call, I'll say, okay, where do you want to go? Where are you right now? Where do you want to go? What's stopping you? And then I tell them, here's why I'm the bridge. Here's how I'm going to get you from point A to TEDx talking forward. So that's kind of what I do. And they'll say, what's that worth for you? You tell me. And then that's how the conversation goes. But there's some people that, what do you want to, what are your challenges? I don't have any. Why haven't you done it? No time, too busy. Okay, have a nice day. Because this person's clearly not coachable.
I feel like for me, a lot of my coaching, I think, is different from theirs. A lot of mine has been more like career coaching for students. And I've realized that, like, the students that become most successful, and we notice this even in the second conversation, are people who come back with a new set of questions than what they asked you the last time. That's how you know that person is good, right? Because what I find is I have a lot of people who will come back again, pay the same amount, maybe even more, to literally ask the same questions. Why? Because it shows me they haven't even implemented what was discussed in the first one. So no, and some people, they just passively.
No, but that's the worst. Like, someone comes in for the third coaching call, asks the same question 2 months ago. Are you kidding me? We've covered this. Come on, man.
Exactly, and you feel bad for them because you paid for this, and you're again paying for the same thing. he cannot come hold like, can't feel.
What do you think, India? What do you think is in that?
I think a lot of it. Oh, sorry. No, I was going to say from at least a student's perspective, what I've realized, I think it's because they have so much going on at times that it's very easy to forget what is a priority and what's not, right? Let me give you a sample example, a use case of an international student who does 2 part-time jobs, is a full-time student as well, plus is sending money back home and financial pressures, all of that. When they come back home at 11 p.m., all tired working throughout the day, they kind of forget what the priorities are moving forward, right? For a lot of us, the priority becomes is just making money, and as a result, you forget what's most important, which is investing in your career. So I don't know how much you would relate to that, but I think that is something I
should get a coach.
No.
I know what you mean though.
Yeah, but I think it's also difficult for them, right, to set those priorities, because I don't know how many of you relate to me here as students, is it's difficult to identify what's most important, because bringing food to the table is obviously a first priority, but it's that short-term versus long-term focus, right? And I think it's about helping them find a balance between the two, where it's not compromising that idea of creating stability in life in terms of where you're at, but also making sure you are securing your future, even if it's putting 50% of effort today, with the goal that you can put a 90% there.
I was just going to offer a gift. It's a little bit of variation. It goes back to the question of the pattern. So the one gift is an acronym. It's an acronym for fear. Because fear is one of the amplifying barriers for people to develop fear of change, fear of doing something new, fear of doing. So what fear stands for is, some of you may have heard it, so I apologize, but it's very powerful. I use it all the time for working out. You're surprised by false events, period. That stops us from moving forward in so many places. So false events appearing real is what fear is really is. So that's very powerful. If you think about it, what's stopping me? It's a fear. Fear of what? When you say, well, this could happen, it didn't happen. So that fear is really false for the most part. That's the fear of it. That's it here.
Okay, we have lots of questions, so I'll make sure you go and then we'll go to the direction of that.
I've been hearing the term mentor and coach. What is the difference between the two? I mean, the term has been used almost interchangeably.
Very different.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so mentoring is a bit more direct. So remember I talked about that spectrum? There's mentoring and direct coaching. This is what you should be doing. Here's the thing that work for you. Coaching, true hardcore coaching, how I was trained by ROyE in Ontario. I don't tell you what to do. I ask questions. I might say, well, this, and you said it earlier, think a little bit, say, I found this worked for me. What does that provide to you? Oh, that's what does that provide to you? And a true coach will get you to a place that you've never been before in your thinking and how you actually choose to do something differently. In between, there's all kinds of levels of direct coaching, teaching. There's all kinds of spectrum. Look at the spectrum. It's out there. It's teaching and coaching. But true hardcore coaching is non-directed, non-judgmental, based on curiosity and question. That's what high performance coaching is for.
The other thing I mentioned about mentorship is that typically it's not usually a monetary exchange, it's usually people want to give back. I'll tell you one story, which was I had this guy who was a speaking guy, he was funny, amazing, creative, and I really wanted him to be my mentor. And so I sent him an email and nothing. Like there was no response at all. And I was like, oh, you have a conversation, Facebook friends, make connections, nothing. He goes to me, and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? And so nothing happened. But then maybe 6 months later, I ran an event. It was actually the first ever DYPB personal training event in 2013. And I invited him to be one of the speakers at the event. And I remember it was like a really hot Monday night in August. There was no air conditioning. There was 150 people there. It was really, really sweaty and horrible. But he was there. And I finally said, listen, I sent you a message about me being my mentor, but you never responded. What? I never got it. Oh my God, you're my mentor. And I was like, oh, thank God. I followed up. I was terrified to ask him, because he thought I'd been a professional speaker for 5 6 years at this point. I finally asked him, and he said yes, and we would meet once every 6 months, and we would just give you full-time advice. Sorry, I want to go to direction, then you. Go ahead.
So my question is related to your topic about fear. So I coach as well, and I also have received a lot of coaching in life. And I've been wondering, like, what do you do in cases where, like, there's intersection between therapy and coaching? Where I know that, generally the rule is you refer out if therapy is needed. But let's say someone, a client or anyone has gone through a complex trauma in their life. It's not going to go away in 1 year, 2 years, 5, 10. It's a lifetime thing. So when dealing with people who have complex trauma and they have a fear and you're working with them through a fear, how do you navigate that intersection between like, if that fear is rooted not in a mindset, first how do you determine if it's like a mindset block, you know, like is it a limiting belief? Or how do you determine if it's like something really deep that maybe can't be worked through coaching, and what do you do in that case while still being able to serve people who do have trauma and, you know, like,
Exactly like I see out there. So if I see there's an extreme, that's a big question, I'll back out of it. I actually inspired clients because they had deep psychological challenges and I couldn't just going back to you said childhood stuff was one of the things you got to appreciate that. We were trained, I backed out of it and said I can't, I'm not the right person to do it, I can't institution because I'm not qualified. So if you start seeing some psychological things, you got to back out as a coach. Now if you think it's a coaching thing, you know, there's a bit of a judgment in there, but once you know it's getting into a profession that you're not trained for, we've been trained, I've been trained, I can't coach you.
Yeah, what I would say to that is that in the mindset work, we ask questions, we dive deep. And if we uncover something that's quite traumatic, like that throws us, that's where we might say, listen, I would suggest maybe you get professional counseling or therapist with this. In addition to this, or on your own, before we get able to do that. The other thing that happens if you feel like you could handle it, because, you know, let's say I'm coaching someone who's, you know, a brown person with brown parents. I've been there, and it becomes very traumatic. And I might say, hey, listen, this is a very difficult subject. If you're willing to, I'm willing to talk through it with you if you want. You ask for permission. And then they say yes. And then, of course, if you still get really, really bad, then I would get sound back price condition.
And I think it depends on the level of, you know, like the psychological state that they're at. Like if it's like stress, anxiety, you know, which we all are a part of, and you cried a random day, like, you know, we all can relate to that. So I think it really depends. And one thing I've realized is with, you know, some students where I feel like there is a lot of more of the serious, like, you know, the depression where they have been in it for the last 6 to 7 months. I will either ask them, do you have someone you're talking to right now, like a psychologist or so? And if yes, is it possible that I can kind of, you know, connect with them to know where you're at today? Because those are like sensitive states where you do not even want to have a conversation because they could interpret it in a completely different way. So I think I always like get in touch with a psychologist to understand where they're at and are they in a position where I can coach them or, like, you know, mentor them in certain areas. Just to be, you better be safe than sorry. And like to Brian's point, you rather than say, you know what, I can always talk to you, or maybe I cannot coach you because, yeah.
Let's go to the question there, and then we'll be behind you.
Before a reaction, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
The question about the mentoring and coaching.
Yeah.
If there is a way to understand it quicker, it's like coaching is probably you listening 80% of the time, and the person is like listening. The coach actually is listening 80% of the time.
Yeah.
When mentoring is actually the coach and the mentor actually speaking.
They're consultants.
All the person thinks about it. It's all about training. Mentoring is all about training. There's speaking and just listening and not growing. Where coaching is actually you are.
Let's go back there. Go ahead.
You guys enter into coaching to coach yourself out at the end. So, I mean, a not-for-profit successfully would not exist. They've solved the problem, you move on. As coaches, do you enter the engagement to say, I know I'm going to get to a point that I'm no longer needed by the person on the other end. Do you approach your coaching like that, or do you expect, I'm going to be at the birth of your grandkids?
That can happen. I don't respond to that. That can happen. But my ability, I think, from my experience, your expectations maximizer. At the very beginning, we first build trust, build relationship, set confidentiality, and we do an agreement. It's a master agreement, and then every session is a separate agreement, it's a master agreement. And we agree, my process, we agree, what are you trying to achieve? It kind of goes back to how we lead to A to B. What is your B? Let's define it, it's objective as you can, and that's, what's that, is that?
That was everything. That was everything.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
We're all aligned, but that's how we respond, is if you define that right, and I know it comes to an end, it is agreed to. They may say, you want to extend, if this is great, I got something else I want to work through, that's we define a new agreement, and that's doing it. There's always a clear, concise outcome that I guarantee you will achieve. That's how I.
My favorite thing in the world is when they achieve it's a gift. I love that. But I also had clients where you definitely need more work and they don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, okay, and what ends up happening is I know I'll see the exact same place a year from now. So, and that breaks my heart because I know they can use the help, but they don't want to do it.
No, I think I was just going to quickly add it like to that point. I feel like coaches have to change, in my perception, because I feel like it goes back to the earlier conversation I was bringing up, is that it depends on what stage of life you're at, and I feel like different coaches will be a better fit for you at those stages, right? I mean, I haven't had like a paid coach till now, but again, going back to the mentorship piece a little bit as well, is like when I was a student, there were people who I, got coaching from over the last 2 years. But as soon as I graduated and I spent a year and a half in the job that I'm in, I was like, you know what, there's still great people to have around me, but I don't think I'm getting the value that I want, because even they are not at the stage where they're thinking in the same direction as me, right? So I feel like for me, it's something dynamic and changes, and if the coach is someone who has that breadth of experience to offer in every area, great, but most oftentimes everyone has their own industry and expertise, right? So I think it changes.
We have a question right here.
Just a first question, just to get not follow as well. You see that all forms of coaching are relatively similar things, and it is a guide to and so it's something
Well, I said before, like, there are formalized ways of coaching and the typical ways of what Brian said. I am very upfront with my clients to say, I'm a coach element. You tell me if you need some mindset work, or you want me to tell you what to do, and I'll tell you what to do.
Okay.
But I'm very upfront about how my work is. I work different.
Okay, so the follow-up question is that would you say that sports, coaching of sports team with the same intentions, like they're expected to feel that they have to guide or to tell their team, tell where we want to succeed, but is it more like are you creating more self-awareness for them and suggesting things rather than telling people? Is that the same?
My response to it is that a sports coach is very unique. Okay, I had a really good friend, never sweat or stroke in his life, could not swim. He coached his professional swim team. And so he was working on development by his mindset. Because what a true coach does is really get you confident and those skills. They may or may not have the skills to do it, but they're coaching you through it, they're inspiring you to be living. You're building on yourself, so they're inspiration, and they're actually helping you shift how you're thinking. So thinking controls your behavior, choose to do. That's what a coach does. It's a thought. A true coach is a thought partner. They work in sports too. They have any professional sports coach. They work on mindset. Those successful coaches, they make something of their sport coach, but they're good at developing that coaching space and mindset.
And I would say if you can 10x your clarity, 10x your confidence, 10x your communication, you can rule the world. Question over here, and then one over there.
From a client's perspective, how do you know that coaches are right for you to work on it? Are there any red flags you should keep in mind while getting coaches?
My response, in case I can tell you not to do too much without wanting them to, I would say that they're not helping because they're just really specific to something and then there's something wrong with it or wrong with it. So that's my response. You'll know. You'll know if you're a coach.
I would say that it's also, and I'll just pick up on that in a second, it's how you feel right after the call. So did you want more? And so one story, I was coaching this guy, or coaching this guy, and I was coaching him, and he was hounding me tons of questions. I was giving most of that, and then I had, for some reason my Zoom wasn't working, so I had the Zoom screen on, I had my phone on. So when we got off the call, we turned off the Zoom, and my phone was still on, and I heard him say at the very end, "That was effing awesome!" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, it's gonna hurt." And so that was awesome. So like, how do you feel after the call?
No, I was going to share an example of this recently happened to me. Someone I spoke to from a mentor capacity, and I was like, oh my god, never talking to this person again. Because I feel like, again, I think for me, I'm at a unique stage of my life where I'm fairly younger in the spaces I want to get into and the work that I want to do, and mostly the kind of places I go to, it's mostly people 45 years and above in those same positions as me, right? Speaking at the same events, etc. And I get a lot of backlash because of that at times from certain people and even coaches. So this one coach I'm talking to who reached out to me to be like, yeah, I want to be a coach. I hop on a call with him, and the entire conversation was about, you are aiming too high. And the entire conversation was like, you have a lot of ego. And I was like, what? Just for aiming high? So I feel like it's about, you will know when you're meeting the right people, because some people have their own mindset. Some people think very traditionally, right? I know for me, I need a coach who can get creative, who doesn't tell me, hey, if everyone walks the corporate ladder like A, B, C, and D, I don't want to speak to that person. I want to speak to someone who can be like, you can go from A to Z if you want, right? You just got to figure out how. So that's when I knew this is not the person for me, because if anything, they're going to guide me in the wrong direction. And that's when I stopped the conversation and I was like, hey, it was great chatting, but I don't think this is a great fit, right? So yeah, good for you. You keep up if you're still getting coachings. Being like this, great. But you know, like, yeah, I think it's, you'll know to your point.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to say this.
Yeah.
And a good coach will say, okay, let's not do that. Let's not work for free. I'd be all over that. If it wasn't, let's not work for free. What do you expect? Oh, okay, let's
not really comfortable. It's my child. It's my child. Last. Okay, I'll do one and two more questions, but then I actually want to get to some open mic stuff for you guys to share. Go ahead.
But you'll know for sure. I'll respond to your question if you're trying to get me. But you can do quantitative as well. Because there's assessments, there's feedback, there's 360 tools. It's better when you're working on, if you're working on your leadership impact, for example, with your team as an example, is a big one for me. And let's assess where you're at. Let's feedback. Let's work on this. What are the challenges? What feedback? Ask for feedback. Listen to it. Let's reassess. Let's get it. How are they showing up now? So you can quantify some of those shifts. And you know, you're still showing up the same, I may not be the right fit. Or what can we do differently? So there are some you can quantify a lot of that measure, but deep down, the coaching knows. They know if they're changing. They know if they're really over to the coaching. They want to make the changes in the day. That's the coach's job, is to really challenge it and get over themselves and really get them comfortable to be in a new space. Because like Bobby's point, if they don't want to be coached and everything change, a year later, ask the same question, do the same thing, it's not working. The person's going to go to that. You just go. It's one of those things, it's that trust relationship.
Yeah, I would say, what have you done? Yeah. Or sorry, how do you feel? What work have you done? And what results have you achieved with that work? And in each of those cases, how do I feel? Do I feel like it's them or it's me? What work have I done? Is it because, am I not doing the work that they told me to do or felt I could do and I haven't done it? Or is it them, holding me back? And then results, based on what happened, am I getting the results I wanted or it's not going the way I wanted? So you look at those things, I think that makes sense.
So how long
That's what it is.
So that's a broad question. It's hard to answer the question depending on some things. Learning how to do project management and coaching, that's, you can probably put a timeline to that to be an effective leader.
What my coach told me is, he told me, one of the things he told me with advice in my coaching business is like, make it 12 sessions because that's how much time you need to have transformation. So that 12 sessions over a year or 6 months or even 3 months, we need to have the work done. And he also told me 12 sessions, one price, that's it. And I can tell you it made a huge impact on my business. And you talk about doubling, tripling prices, yes. My price now tripled when I started that. So that was actually interesting. Sorry, I want to make sure that there was another question there, and I'll let you know. Okay, that's it. Open mic. Just want to hear from these people. Go ahead. Sorry.
You mentioned in one question saying that when someone is, or just referring to the topic that says how coaching transforms, it's kind of a two-way street as well, right? Because as you're coaching someone, you're learning the person too, and sometimes it gets monotonous. You get tired. Sometimes you lose your passion. And how do you re-energize yourself? How do you refresh yourself? And how do you think times when I'm learning something, how do you learn the person? How do you justify yourself?
Well, I'll respond. We had to write a main topic for our certification was to session I go into, I do 10 minutes of actual mindfulness, and I say, how am I going to show up? And one of the best acronyms I've learned, as you can see, I can talk about it, figure that means I'll talk forever, is whatever it's that, it's called wait. Why am I talking? And I have a sticky. So that keeps me focused, so I just think of questions when I'm talking. That helps me. But it's that mindfulness, before every session, I do 5 to 10 minutes of mindfulness. I'm showing up, that's my presence I want to be. That's how I do it. I truly energize, so that's how I do it.
So you mean more in terms of it gets monotonous in terms of who you're talking to, or like?
No, monotonous in the sense like when you're coaching people all together, or like coach one person and it's the same scenario, same cycle over and over again. And you know, like when you're doing the same thing, sometimes there are times when you're like, you know, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling right. Yeah. And you get a little tired, a little lazy, and you lose your passion, right? So the times when you re-energize yourself because that's what you love in the beginning when you started.
I think the things that I do is like I pace those conversations out, because usually whenever people sign up for a coaching call with me, they put in a context in terms of what they want to chat about, right? So it gives me more context as well of what is it job search related, is it about networking, you know? Even though they're similar but still from different angles, so I'll usually put in a mix of sessions that I'll schedule so that I am also not feeling like, oh, I've been talking about the same thing again and again. And if anything, I sometimes even reach out to people to be like, hey, do you want to do this as a group session or do you want to do it only individually? Because sometimes people find that more comfortable actually to know that there's someone out there facing the same issues and challenges as them, right? So I feel like there are a few ways around it, and maybe like taking breaks. I think for me it helps because it's not my full-time job. So, you know, almost 8 hours a day I'm doing something else. So if anything, I enjoy it, even if it's the same topic, because I'm like, oh, I get to do something different than the morning, right? Yeah.
You know, I can see why you have so many followers and people love you, because you're so articulate and so smart. I wish I was like that at that age. Really sad. Last question, then open my go ahead.
So let's talk a little bit about context. So when we have a client coaching, that client is in a context that can be very old-fashioned, traditional, where we're pushing them to change their ways. Maybe they want to change their mindset, but they would have to change their mindsets of everybody else. How do they do that? They're usually either in that position, top, which is one of their jobs. Then you have all the other, you know, middle managers that you might be coaching as well, where they're stuck in the middle, where they have even more work because they don't necessarily have any official power. So they do influence, and that's like the level of that. So there's so many layers right there.
I love that question.
That's a hell of a question.
Can you repeat it for the live stream? Can you repeat it for the live stream over there? People are watching. Oh, is that right? Yeah, because that's why the CEO is focused on that, because the ripple effect, you may have heard of so read that book, that's a good one. Because you get the actual CEO implementing the coaches as well, and that's what I take a coaching approach to the CEO, and I coach them to be coaches. That's exactly what I do. They don't know I'm doing it, but because I ask the questions, what would the impact be if you change or release? What is the most powerful word, by the way, for the question you can ask? If you get a question, what stays, it opens up so much space. Once you challenge that CEO, what is your goal? What's the impact you want to have? What do you want your managers to do? What do you have to do differently? You know, what is your next approach? What's your change of thinking? You know, what do you need to do differently? What kind of expectations are you setting for them? Once you have to hear all the what's there, like I can get any question to about almost pretty quickly. It's profound. Once the CEO realizes I'm the one that's causing my organization to change, that is one of the most thrilling things that I've ever experienced many times. Or executives, when they get it, they go, then it just, cultures change. They go, I can share the last company that I was with, internally coaching president of his direct reports. Our engagement levels went up statistically significant based on our approach and focusing on manager's approach. Take a coaching approach, listen, engage people. We were in the business and we need to be people's houses. It was a tough business. We were losing people. So how do you go get, and our retention stabilized. Engagements went up every year, both through COVID plus every 5 years of stable. Because of the approach we're taking, that's it's doable, but it takes the delivery content to start with this.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay. First off, I want to thank Ritika and Brian. Please thank them. share with you. I'm actually gonna start because I never do it. But I'm gonna do it right now because I'm gonna share something with you. Okay.
Should I put a timer?
Well, oh, yeah. That's true. You can yank me off at this one. I found out recently that I have ADHD. Woo! And in my 50s, which I know I look only 49, but at 50, in my 50s, I realized that it's something that a lot of entrepreneurs share. But because I have hyper-focus, because I'm very distracted, because I do a lot of things, I've learned systems on how to manage it. I have a paper calendar, my Google calendar. I found out because my daughter had expressed a challenge with ADHD, so I decided to get diagnosed with my wife. And I did that because I wanted her to know that she's not alone, and it's totally fine. We're all like this, nothing wrong with it. For years, I thought in the corporate world, what's wrong with me? For years, I thought with Christians, what's wrong with me? But there's nothing wrong with me, there's nothing wrong with my daughter, there's nothing wrong with anybody, we just all work in different ways. And that's my number for you. I want to make sure you understand that. There's nothing wrong with us. We all are different. We all have different brain chemistry, and all we got to do is ask for help and learn about ourselves so we can be better moving forward. So that's my line up over there. You're ready first, so you can just punch them here. Go ahead. Oh, sure. There you go. Go ahead.
Just want to say thank you to Bobby, Kritika, and Ronnie for everything. So, quick one minute. I'm Ivan. I'm an HR person. I'm an aspiring coach as well. I'm also a big yapper as well. And while I'm also a job seeker looking to grow a profession in HR, I do things like share like weekly postings on internships around the world and Canada jobs as well. So if you need an HR person, or if you want someone to connect dots for you as well in terms of opportunities, or you just want to yap about your problems to me in terms of the job search or life, don't hesitate to reach out to me through LinkedIn, as I am about to leave very soon. So thank you again.
Thanks, Bobby, and Brian. Hi, I'm David. I spend my days talking to myself in a 3x3 foot padded cell. Actually, it's 5x7. No, I'm not crazy. I'm a professional voice actor. So if you or somebody you know is producing any audio, video, training, marketing content, and you need a nice voice for it, you can find me anytime at David Gilbert, voiceover.com. I do some career consultations on the side. That's not my business. I can do that. So that's it.
Yeah, hey, thank you everyone for the opportunity to speak. My name is Umar, and I'm going to be founder of Shake the World, which started yesterday. And I'm really here for help. I've gone through some difficult periods of my life, and I'm at the precipice, at the crossroads, where I have to decide whether I want to stay where I am in discomfort, in this hurt. Our family is doing each other sometimes, but not realizing, or whether I want to take a stand, change, and seek for help from whoever can give that help, give that value that I have, my personal experiences, major depression, from and beyond, and how fast I've been learning, like a sponge, learning, changing. And so I would love to get to know more people, whoever I can support, whoever can support me, so we all just float, rise together. Yeah, thank you. I have it.
Hello everyone, my name is Mai 3, not Mai 1, not Mai 2, but Mai 3. Firstly, thank you to the panelists. This was amazing. I knew very little about coaching before coming here, and now I walk away with a lot of lessons. I think the most exciting thing for me was fear and weight. I yapped a lot, so I'm going to be using weight a lot. So thank you for that. I'm a tech founder. Me and my co-founders started our business 6 weeks ago in this office right here. And we help solopreneurs and indie hackers build their brand online and use social media in the most successful ways by helping you find conversations you should be part of. That was a whole lot of jargon. If you still want to know what I do, come talk to me. I'm also a marketer by trade, so if anyone wants to know how to become a marketer in the B2B tech space, I'm happy to chat. So thank you guys. Thank you so much.
I'd like to share some of my experience on coaching. So, during my first session with my coach, my coach then asked me some questions that started to challenge my mindset, and I ended up crying for my coach. She just referred me to some therapy option so I can get that move to know that I need to work on this year more.
Everyone, my name is Chinedu Azamineri. I run Seat Clothier, so I run my own custom suit company. But during the day, I run a staffing and recruiting firm. If anybody is looking for jobs, I can help you find jobs. So I actually was introduced to DYPB a few years ago. Bobby ran a conference at Meetup, and it was a very transformative event for me because it helped me launch my custom suit company in terms of focusing on personal branding. Because it was, for a long time, it was just transactional. I like to make suits, and it's, make suits for people, but it's a brand, right? And I am a brand, and so it was a really, really important event. And since then, recently I actually made a suit for Cardinal Michelle. You guys watched the Canada's Got Talent finale, that suit that he had, the white suit. I made that suit. Instagram is at Chinedu Style. On LinkedIn, it's Chinedu Azamineri. It's exactly like it sounds. Chinedu.
So I met Bobby maybe, I don't know, over 10 years ago. And I guess back then I was more in nonprofit human rights. And I've been going through a career transition following, well, I guess 4 or 5 years of dealing with the health crisis and rapidly found a condition called endometriosis. And so anyway, last year I had a surgery and I almost died. And then but I didn't die. I decided I wanted to become a life coach because I woke up to my passion, and I decided to get certified, go on this journey, support women, especially women who are suffering or experiencing, I guess, who are finding difficulties in navigating life following childhood trauma or domestic abuse or other issues that kind of complicate this coaching process. So I would love your support. If you know any women or neurodiverse who are ambitious leaders who want to reach their full potential and want support, let me know. And also I have an e-commerce business selling bodies equipment and supplies formers. So if you know anyone from this studio, let me know as well. And that's it.
Hi everyone, my name is Remy Vogel. I just transitioned from being a corporate person to a finance guy during 20-something years across many countries. So I've been going from country to country, adapting to new cultures, adapting to new teams, and from there to my passion to actually helping people develop. And so I recently, about 6 months ago, I decided to make coaching my full-time job. And I'm working mostly with finance people, IT people, engineering, more technical people that are very good, brilliant in their job, but are struggling to actually connect with their teams. So I'm more a leadership coach, and I help people actually connect with their teams and get more about the teams and empower them, engage with them. So if you need help or if you want to discuss about it, just hit me up with your own. Okay?
Hey everybody, my name is Aubrey. Can we say hey Aubrey? Thank you. I just want to second Chinedu. He invited me here today. The stars aligned. We were talking about growing my business. He brought me here. And I just want you to know I've lost a little bit of weight, so I'm actually definitely going to be getting a suit from him within the next month. just wanted to plug that. My name is Aubrey Nerona. I'm a motivational speaker, and I speak to students from kindergarten to grade 12 all over Ontario, as well as to educators, parents and guardians, and corporate folks as well. My website is called hellohope.ca. Not HelloFresh, hellohope.ca. And as y'all were speaking, and thank you so much to the panelists, I came across this quote. I was reminded of this quote as you were all speaking. It's from Eric Mosley. Some of you may know Eric Mosley, who started that organization called Work Human, bringing the humanity back to the workplace. And this whole event reminds me of the quote, and it simply said this: maybe at the end of your career, you may not be fixated on the things that you achieved as much as the friends that you met along the way. So cheers to all of you.
I know we kind of met already, but because I saw a lot of students in the room, whenever I see that, I feel like I have to share something before the event ends or anything that is very, very relevant to you. So, with a lot of the work I do today, whether it be at DYPB, running my own organization based across 4 countries, having a community of 75,000 on LinkedIn, or having our own international student community of 50,000 people across social media, WhatsApp groups, newsletters, etc., etc. A lot of people always ask me, Ritika, how did you go from being an international student who came into this country with zero experience, right, not knowing who she is, to then becoming this person in just a matter of 3 years, right, or 2.5 to be more exact. And I think it was this 3-step mantra to success that I call it, which is A, investing the time into really identifying what's your purpose and what's your why, no matter what stage of life you're at. Whether you're a professional today, whether you're a CEO today, whether you're just a student, we all struggle with identifying what our purpose is, because guess what, it changes, right, over time. So always taking out the time to understand what that purpose is. Once you have identified what that purpose is, invest the time to build credibility for that purpose. What I mean by that is, for a lot of students, credibility means corporate experience. It's not. Credibility can also come from not-for-profit experiences. You can volunteer at a particular, NGO or a startup. It's just about creating evidences to show why you're good at something and why you are not the other person next to you. And once you've done those 2 things, the third and the most important thing, which almost 85% of people miss out on, is what? Personal branding, right? Make sure you communicate that credibility once you've built it as well. Because the real fact is that many of us out there were smarter. Every year, more people have master's degree. Every year, more people are graduating with better certifications, with better experiences. So what that means is more competition. And with more competition, it also means lesser opportunities available for those increasing number of people, right? So clearly today, you getting an opportunity is not based on how many years of experience you have. You may be someone with 25 years of work experience. You may still not be able to land job opportunities unless and until you are someone who's also visible in the room, right? Because today people are hiring for potential, not experiences, right? So just keep that in mind when you find yourself starting to self-doubt. It's never really you, it's just about how are you communicating your experiences and your capabilities to someone that ends up determining whether you get access to that opportunity or not. So it is 100% in your hands, and it's just about you making sure you put in the effort every single day. And just a last action item, if I can leave you with, is no matter what your goal is today, and if you feel like you're not being able to achieve it, write down 5 things according to you that will help you get there. And for those 5 things, write down 2 things you should be doing every single day to get there. And I promise you, if you do those 2 things every single day without fail, you will be there at your destination, no matter what. But that's one of the most difficult things to do. So I'll leave you to that, and hopefully you can at least get started, right?
And one of the last things I said at the last personal branding conference was this, which is simply fight for your life. Are you willing to fight for the life that you want? Are you willing to fight for the career that you want? Are you willing to fight for the love of your life that you want? Or are you willing to go by the way to say it? Are you willing to fight for the health that you want? Are you willing to fight for the impact you want? Are you willing to fight for the people around you, your community, the world, social justice? What do you want to fight for? If you want to fight for your life and understand what it is you want to do, then you want to push your personal brand and figure that stuff out. So I think that's important to say. And the second thing I'll say is that we talk about coaching today, which is really important. But the other thing that's really important, I created a model for success for everything we do. Losing weight, trying to get a TEDx talk, build your career, get a job, whatever you're trying to do. I type of model, one of the things that comes up is coaching. It's a huge part of success. People who have not had success is because they've not had coaching. But the other part that's really important is community. Because a community is also support. Community is crowdsourcing. Community is, feeling part of another group. And so when you combine coaching and community together, it's really, really amazing. And so that's why coaching is a big part of what we're trying to do here. And LinkedIn Local Toronto is also a community as well. And I wanted to again thank our community sponsors, right? So we have DYPB, which is a sponsor, SERP, Swiss Family, Redefined, 111 is Wonderful Space, Round, and TLB Club are also our supporters here. That's a community. And then the other thing I want to mention was, some things that I'm up to. So, I run, first off, I'll go to the top. So first off, this is our pre-pandemic team. It's really hard for us to run these events because it takes a lot of work to find speakers, find space, find sponsors, all that kind of stuff. You got to come and sing for free because my small team worked their butts off. So I want to thank Ritika and Brian and David and Austin, who's on here tonight, who's feeling sick. They're the team that helped put this together, and I think that's great. But we need more people on their team. So if you're interested in helping launch LinkedIn Local Toronto and bring them back, I know we've done 25. We've actually done the most in all the different LinkedIn Locals in the world, but we do need help. So if you want to help us with things like that, promotions, marketing, sponsorship, things like that, that's something we can talk about. I also do a lot of work. I have a membership community called Thought Leadership Brand Club. And this is where people come in. I'm doing a training actually on Thursday. It's going to be asking anything about my AI tools. I share the 7 different AI applications I use for my business and my content strategy. I'm going to tell you what I think about them, why I like some of them, why I dislike some of them, and why I'm going to stop using some. So I'm going to do that training. It's free to attend. So manager is going to talk about strategy for cultivating culture of health and wellness. Next week, we do these free events for people to learn, to grow. And I also do weekly audio rooms as well. So you go on LinkedIn Audio every Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday at 4 o'clock, Thursday at 2:30, and I will be there sharing knowledge. So, I have the membership community, which is a smaller level paid community, but then I also have my TEDx Mastery program, which is basically a 6-month program to help you guarantee landing a TEDx talk to elevate your career. And I want to say for those who are doubting themselves right now, every single one of you has a story to tell. Every single one of you has experience and ideas that will inspire people to change lives. And 10-year-olds have done TEDx talks. So it's not about experience. It's not about where you are in life. It's not about your success or achievement or number of followers. It's about your story and your idea. If you have a certain idea that can change the world and inspire people, I encourage you to come to open links. I encourage you to do a TEDx talk. I encourage you to put content out there. I encourage you to talk to people when you network and make that impact. So with that, I want to thank everyone for being here. I appreciate you guys taking the time to be here. It's been great. Thanks to everyone on the live stream. We'd like to end the night actually with having a group shot here with everybody. But thank you so much for coming. Have a good night. Yes, and then the people who got the books, you have to prove it to us. You ask the question, and then Brian's going to give them that. Okay? Okay, here. There we go. Everyone gather up here so I can take a photo.